Today on 21st Century Television, join us as we explore innovative technologies, cutting-edge solutions, and timely discussions from leaders across the globe. Featuring guest host Donald Trump Jr. This is 21st Century Television.
Welcome to 21st Century Television. I'm Donald Trump Jr. Organizations face many pitfalls in achieving significant and sustainable change, whether they try to do this internally or hire outside consultants. Here today to discuss how his company is helping organizations achieve this change, we have CEO of Renoir Group, Krishna Papalma. Welcome, Krishna.
Thank you very much for having me, Don.
Krishna, why do such a high percentage of change programs ultimately fail?
That's interesting. Studies have shown that over 70% of change programs fail. And the primary reason is because companies underestimate the complexity and the magnitude of what they have to do to make a change happen. So they either under-resource it or try and do it themselves, and they really have no specific objective linked to the change, as a result of which they attempt it and fail.
How is Renoir helping companies ultimately surmount those kind of obstacles and actually succeed in making those changes?
The way we look at things is any organization has 5 things to it that are common, whichever the organization. They are business systems, business processes, the structure in the organization, the efficiency of asset utilization in terms of machines, equipment, plant, people, and the behaviors of people. And really our view is the only way you can make a significant change program succeed and deliver a result to a client is by addressing all of those in parallel.
Interesting. In this 21st Century Television Field Report, we take a closer look at the Renoir Consulting Group and their proven process to effect sustainable change.
It's challenging for companies to achieve significant and sustainable change with internal resources or by bringing in external consultants. In fact, there's general acknowledgement that between 70 and 80% of all change programs fail. Renoir is an experienced industry leader whose model helps clients avoid the pitfalls that plague the majority of change programs. Through their methodology, approach, and implementation, Renoir is able to guarantee results at a fixed price. Renoir clients Mr. Mgojo and Dr. Sengwa of Exaro explain.
Renoir's approach of engagement at the different levels of the organization is something that was a great learning for us. It is something that we continually adopt in terms of all our other initiatives that we are driving in the organization now. It's been 18 months, roughly, since we completed this initiative with Renoir. The intended objective was to actually reduce the wall moves from over 60 days to under 40 days. We've had several wall moves since then, and we have been able to achieve this objective on a consistent basis since then.
We actually involved our people through arranging them in management action teams. We were facilitated by Renoir to make sure that we get the ideas from the people who were participating, and we utilize our shift bosses, our mine overseers, and the miners to identify all the opportunities that we believe could have actually resulted in performance. And we use the miners themselves to actually champion the implementation and installation of those ideas. Before we engaged Renoir, we really needed to be able to measure and monitor performance, in our mines. And they came in and assisted us installing a management control system where I could identify areas of underperformance in time and be able to make decisions in terms of how to improve in those areas of performance. And I can use an example of my wall moves, where we started at 68 days in terms of the wall moves, and we cut down our wall moves just through visibility on a daily basis to 30 days. So I'm really happy with the sustainability of the project.
Renoir projects are cost neutral over the life of the program, and they differentiate themselves from their competition by guaranteeing their results.
Krishna, what are some of the reasons that a company would need your help?
Most companies, and the better the companies are, they're actually more keen at this, want to improve their performance, they want to improve their results, and they want to improve their business in general. And that's pretty much the main reason. It's to improve their performance. In very good companies, they have a hunger to be better, And in bad companies, for obvious reasons, they need to get better, otherwise they're not going to survive.
Of course. What industries perhaps could benefit the most from this kind of consultancy?
Well, if we take our company, we started out in Britain in the automotive industry in the 90s, where they needed a significant change. But we then found that what we were doing in the automotive industry was applicable in pretty much any industry, and we had demand from a whole series of those. So that today we're able to apply our processes in any industry, and we're currently working in healthcare, in mining, in oil and gas, in banks, in insurance companies, in telecom companies, and in manufacturing.
In each one of those sectors, are you able to do different things in different geographical areas? Perhaps in the United States, if the banking industry is more built up, can you effectuate more or less change there than perhaps the emerging world?
Well, it's certainly, industries are in different levels of maturity in the different parts of the world. So if we take the US as an example, the significant area of attention at the moment is healthcare, for very obvious reasons. And we are addressing some of those issues in the healthcare industry here. At the same time, in Asia, financial services are really going through a maturity period, and that's what we're addressing in that part of the world.
Renoir's proven process has created sustainable change for businesses in over 30 countries on 6 continents.
iMed Network is Australia's largest provider of diagnostic imaging radiology services. We operate about 200 clinics in every state and territory in Australia. We provide MRI, CT, ultrasound, X-ray, all of the imaging modalities. We've got 350 doctors working for us and about 3,500 staff. The scope of the project was to completely redesign the in-clinic workflow, everything from booking a patient to registering a patient, scanning them, reporting the study and delivering the results and billing at the back end. We did that by pulling apart the existing workflow and doing a critique on it to work out what was wrong and redesign a new one that took into account the efficiencies that we've got through going digital. Our staff were intimately involved in designing the solution. We hold a series of workshops across the business, from both geographically as well as across the disciplines. So we had clerical staff, technical staff, radiologists, etc. involved in it. The workshops were initially about documenting our current workflows, which we found to be extremely disparate across the business, and then critiquing that to find out what was wrong with it and designing a brand new workflow, which we then tested in a clinic environment to make sure that it worked. I would rate Renoir very highly as an implementation partner. They came out to the clinics when we initially started rolling out the new system with the embedded workflow and made some minor changes and adjustments to it for circumstances that we hadn't initially foreseen. Found Renoir's approach of engaging at all levels across the business completely in line with our own philosophy of staff engagement. We found that Renoir delivered on all the promises they made to us. In some ways they exceeded those expectations. We would employ Renoir again as a business improvement partner. In fact, we've already had a secondary engagement with them. There were other companies involved in this process. Specifically, our 2 key software partners were intimately involved in the design of the new process as they had to build that into their software.
Obviously, understanding there are significant cultural differences around the world. Does your system work in all countries?
Yes, it does. There are different nuances, obviously, for culture and language, but the methodology and process is used currently by us in America, as in Asia, as in Africa.
Are there any trends that you've seen evolve as a result of your work within corporations around the world?
I think about when we started this business, the main thrust of the work that we did was about productivity and efficiency. But I think that to an extent has been done pretty much all over the world. It's much more focused now on the structure and design of the organization and how to enhance sales revenue. So costs have been done. It's about how can we increase the profitability by improving the revenue of the companies.
In the grand scheme of things, has the global recession helped or hurt your business in that perhaps you're able to help solve some of the problems that arose?
Well, it's interesting. It's actually helped our business for a couple of reasons. One is we have spread our business out. So we've not just been focused on Europe and America, which really got hit hard by the recession. We've been involved in Asia, Africa, and Australia, where the recession really didn't hit anything because the financial systems were fairly robust. Secondly, in times of recession, the fact that we put in place systems for clients that were very solid has meant that they've given us repeat business. So yes, we've suffered in terms of new clients, but repeat business has actually taken over during that period.
Where do you see Renoir Consulting in 5 to 10 years?
Doing what we do in more parts of the world for more clients.
Very interesting. Well, it sounds like Renoir Consulting really knows how to help their clients institute sustainable change. Thanks for being here today, Chris.
Thank you.